Hopefully everyone is listening me.
Yes.
On behalf of Home Economics Department here at Lahore College Government University, I welcome you all to this webinar on knowledge, skill, and behavior development. Knowledge, skill, and behavior are three very important components of learning. It is very important for students to develop such type of skills and abilities to succeed not just in their academic careers, but beyond it. Awareness and understanding comes from knowledge. Its application is skill, but a combination of knowledge and skill is not enough to succeed. Right behavior and right attitude are equally important. Hard work, resilience, and dedication, when combined with knowledge and skill, is basically the key to success. Today, we will listen from our experts who have all succeeded in their respective careers and to learn how to develop our knowledge, skill, and behavior. I'm sure our session will be extremely useful for the students. Without further ado, let me introduce our first speaker. It's a great honor for me to introduce our first speaker, Professor Dr. Niaz Ahmed Akhtar Saab, Vice Chancellor, University of the Punjab. Dr. Saab has rendered great services in educational sector in Pakistan. Before joining University of the Punjab, he had served as Rector, National Textile University, Faisalabad, and University of Engineering and Technology, Texla, and Vice Chancellor, Information Technology University. He is the founding director of Institute of Quality and Technology Management and Quality Enhancement Cell at University of the Punjab. He has also served as Vice Chairman of Pakistan Engineering Council. In recognition of his services, he was awarded Sitara-e-Imtiaz. Dr. Saab is truly an institution in himself, a scholar, an academic, a researcher, and above all, a great mentor. I consider myself very lucky to have been mentored by Dr. Saab when I was pursuing my doctorate degree. Sir, I would like to request you to please share with us your thoughts on knowledge, skill, and development.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mehreen. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wal asri innal insana lafi khusr. Illa allazina amanu wa amilus solihati wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. Sadaqallahu al-azim. Dr. Mehreen, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to say a few words about the knowledge, skill, and behavior development. I congratulate you as well as your team, and my special congratulations to your Vice Chancellor, Dr. Bushra Mirza. I think Dr. Kamal is also is one of the participants. I'm grateful she is here and she has accepted your invitation. And Dr. Saika is also here from Bahawalpur. I think it is a very important topic for which the institutions are established. The higher education institutions are established. What is the prime purpose or the objective of the higher education institutions? When we compare any school or any college with the universities, the schools, colleges transfer the knowledge, whereas in the universities, knowledge is created as well as transferred. So the creation of knowledge through the research and development that takes place in the universities or in the higher education institutions. Therefore, you can differentiate how the education takes place in the universities as well as in the colleges. So having said that, about the creation and transfer of knowledge, this is the one of the prime objective of any institution or any higher education institution or universities. The second prime objective of the universities is that how one can transfer that knowledge, how one can apply that knowledge in the practical field. So which we named as skill. This is the second objective of any institution as well as when we are teaching the students, when we are educating our students in the higher education sector. So these are the two important parameters through which the students goes. The third one is most important, that is about the behavior development, or you can say how we inculcate the attitudes or the values in the students. This is, in my opinion, more important than even the first 2 points. First 2 points are parameters, are the prerequisite for any of the graduate of the university. When we say that this student is the medical doctor, we expect that one has got the theoretical knowledge and one can work in the clinics, in the hospitals. And when we say one is engineer, so it means he has the basic knowledge about the engineering, and also one can design any of the equipment or any of the system. Therefore, the knowledge and the skill are the prerequisite for the profession. When we say the inculcating the values among the students, again, if I say, because I don't know the composition of the mix of the participants, but I can simplify. We have the computer module or IT module. We are giving some theoretical knowledge, and the students gets 80% marks, and in the practical, one gets 90% marks. So we take the average, that is 85% is the average of that IT module or IT subject. But in my opinion, when we say about the values, attitudes or the behavior, all the time I multiply the attitude or the behavior. If one has got CGPA 4/4 and without any values, so I multiply it with 0. So CGPA 4/4 multiplied with 0 is equal to 0. Therefore, the ethics or the values are more important in my opinion. So in the international organization or even in the local organization, these points, when we are evaluating any of the candidate about giving some feedback, recommendation about any of the students, so you can see that about 75% or 80%, the criteria focus on the attitude. One can work in a team, one can work individually, one is hardworking, and how is the attitude, any disciplinary action taken against the individual, so much more focus is on the attitude and the behavior. So when we say in the universities, I think I have told you about the objective of the higher education institutions, but when the teacher is the role model to inculcate all these 3 parameters. If one has got the sufficient knowledge, therefore knowledge gradient will exist between the students and the teacher. If there is no knowledge gradient, of course, knowledge will not flow from the teacher to the student. Therefore, that gradient is important, knowledge is important from the teacher to the students. So the teacher should be a role model in terms of knowledge, in terms of skill, in terms of values, in terms of moral values, financial values, character. So the teacher is much more important, who is delivering all these things in the universities. And one day, you see, when you are in a class, all the students, most of the students, they are following you. Therefore, as a teacher, you should be role model for the students in all these 3 points which I have mentioned. Again, when we are saying about the universities, we expect that the solution of the problems that is coming from the higher education institution, that is coming from the university. So it is an integrated profession. You must have the faculty members or the teacher. One should be the role model. One should have the sufficient knowledge to deliver the subject. One should have the capacity, capability, to inculcate the skills. At the same time, the society issues are solved. The solution is coming from the university. Therefore, I think 2 decades back, our universities were focusing only on the teaching side. We were getting textbooks from the different countries or the advanced countries, and we were delivering those knowledge to the students. But since the inception of this Higher Education Commission 2002, the more focus on the research as well as internationalizing your curriculum. And again, when you are internationalizing, these are, whenever you search through any search engine, you will find these 3 are the major objective of the institution. Either it is a national institution or it is an international institution. Therefore, since 2002, our more focus has been on the applied research instead of the basic research. So we are trying, the higher education institutions or the Pakistani universities, they are trying their level best how we can solve the society's problem. At the same time, we were expecting that when a student is coming from the college or from the school to the university, we were expecting that these ethics, these values are coming from the families, or the student has got some knowledge from the college side as well as from the parent side. Being Muslims, we were expecting these ethics or the attitudes. These are coming from the families or from the parents. But I think our focus must be, because we can see due to different reasons, the parents are unable to give the sufficient time, the quality time to the kids. Therefore, it is in our responsibility as a teacher, as an institution, that we must focus on the ethics sides as well. When you look into the latest criteria, latest curriculum of the Higher Education Commission, we are going to launch from fall to 2021. Major focus is again being given to these 3 parameters. Again, the historical background, the philosophy. We are lucky in Punjab, we have introduced the translation of Quran in the undergrad level. Therefore, the objective of, again, translation of Quran and only limiting ourselves to translation, not going in the tafsir, the objective was that what the akhlaqiyat, the values, what Quran says, what Islam says to the human being. Therefore, this was again the objective of our team at the Punjab level, and we have introduced this subjects for 4 years in undergrad program. Again, Dr. Mehreen, I think your topic is very important. The knowledge, skill, and the values are the behavior development. All these efforts which Punjab government at the moment are our curriculum, which has come from the Higher Education Commission, that is mainly focusing on these 3 parameters. So I think if these objectives are clear, we can achieve our mission, our purposes of higher education sector. Once again, many congratulations, Dr. Mehreen, your team, Lahore College for Women University, for giving us this opportunity to say a few words about the topic. Thank you very much, Dr. Mehreen.
Sir, as always, it was a delight to hear you and learn from you. Thank you so much for being the part of this webinar. Let me introduce our next speaker, Professor Dr. Kamal Amin, Vice Chancellor, University of Home Economics. Before joining University of Home Economics, Dr. Sahiba served as Chairperson, Department of Information Management at University of the Punjab for almost a decade. She is the Chief Editor of Pakistan Journal of Library and Information Sciences. She has received the Pakistan Library Association Appreciation Award for her achievements. She is the first ever library science professor to receive the Best University Teacher Award from Higher Education Commission. We will appreciate your presence, Madam. Please share your views.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you so very much, Dr. Mehreen. Dr. Niaz, I have high regards for him. He ended with congratulating you, and I will also start from congratulating you and Dr. Bushra and your team. And obviously, the theme is really very good to talk about. And Dr. Saab has very profoundly thrown light on the role of institutions and our education system in developing these parameters or three, you say, main domains. I think instead of saying those things or enforcing that, I may take another side of that topic. Is behavior and knowledge, skills, and behavior development. So when we see maybe taking the stance to the development of all these three parameters amongst human beings, so there are different institutions and different stages of life are involved in that. Role of institutions, Dr. Sahib has very elaborately discussed. Let's see what is the role of individual himself, because now I will start from the knowledge. No need to stress on that why we should get knowledge. Obviously, human life started with knowing. God tell the humans or taught the names, so it was knowing things. So knowledge, the value is, I mean, it is, there is no doubt in that. The point is now how we develop that. So at personal level, maybe this may be useful for young colleagues and students. Based on my experience and the changes which have been occurring around us, I would say that now our youth and even we ourselves also, we are very much connected to the global world through digital information and through digital resources. So knowledge is there in various sources. The point of concern is that to develop knowledge, to what extent an individual should or would and does depend on an institution, and what is his own role, say even as a faculty member or as a student. uh, I would just try like to caution here that we get a lot of things through our social media, and there is a lot of knowledge lying in digital form, and YouTube is a big library of knowledge. And now the trend shows that people are watching more for learning instead of reading. So if you give the same message in written text, it is read by maybe 10 people, but if it's a video, it is at least some, it reaches to that. But it's a good, say, you have a approach or access to millions of those kind of knowledge resources. But there is one point here that all these, even YouTube, Facebook, or whatever, which mostly people are using, the knowledge providers or whoever has put information on that media, it is not all information is say without any agenda. There are advertisements and there are trendsetters and all that. So there is a big debate on that, that how a few people, if we think about the whole world, few individuals sitting in high-tech companies and or managing all these social media platforms are shaping up the knowledge of the world at global level and individuals. I am not against that, using those media. My only point is that for developing your knowledge, which resources a person should access, that is very important, so that at least, I would not say unbiased, it is very hard to finding that, but trustworthy information and knowledge one get, and not influenced by all the propaganda and all the agenda of various organizations at global or national levels or whatever. So they should be able to distinguish between the fact and opinion and perceptions and epistemological or evidence-based knowledge. Problem is that we just don't distinguish, and someone's opinion is also considered as knowledge, and someone's personal liking is shared is also kind of knowledge. So for developing knowledge, one should be very clear about using these informations and alert in a way. And then why it is obviously knowledge you develop not on 1 day or 2 day, it is a lifelong process. It is said that you keep on learning till grave, from the lap of a mother till grave. So what I have also observed is that if we get some position, or I become say I am a teacher, or I have got a job, or my profession, so continuing professional learning or continuation of the knowledge development, that also somehow stops. So we consider general perception is that, okay, I have a degree, I have enough knowledge. I would say that the degree gives you maybe ABCD of that field. Then you have to build on that with your personal efforts, and organizations wherever you are, they provide opportunities for developing that knowledge. But the most important, in my opinion, is an individual's own will to add on up that knowledge which is necessary for his personal life, for his job, for his performing better at an organization and delivering whatever is ought to that. And it is knowledge is not only about to you humans develop about their related to their jobs or skills. There are so many dimensions of knowledge. It is always better to keep on adding that. I would like to share that in my childhood, or and even if as adult now, I would read even children magazine, just not read, go through, and you find something nice in that. So keep on reading and learning. That is the must for developing knowledge in a variety of domains, not just in one domain. Broader knowledge and skills. Obviously, one needs skills to perform a job in a competent manner. And again, skills keep on, the need for developing skills keep on changing. In olden age, you say in our area, we need to learn certain things about organizing a library and hard material and blah, blah. But now we need to add up on our skills, that how to meet the needs of this modern world. Or the information is there outside libraries much more than in the libraries. So how to deal with those clients, how to meet their information needs. So all the time we have to learn new things. So that is very important for skills learning, that you stay on your toes if you want to excel in your field. It is not just done with the degree. Be very clear about it, because there is a very big debate that, okay, is degree valuable, or has they taught the skills enough to enter into the field? No program can make you perfect in that specified time and in one semester learning that course. They lay the foundations. Building on that is our own role in developing while on our way towards progression. And behavior, as my predecessor, Dr. Saab, said that this is very important. Kyunki, I just start mixing with that. My favorite quote is that people are hired on the basis of competences and fired on the basis of attitude. So sometimes the people who are very competent, they get this ego and very high pride amongst them, and their behavior becomes, very egoistic and disrespectful to maybe at sometimes other. But my rate, what you कहते हैं, the more you have fruits, the more you bow yourself. So staying humble is very important, and understanding others and empathy. What is this? That empathy, if we need to develop empathy, considerate behavior among our youth, and respecting others, making opinions about others, judging others, it is said that that is God's job. Leave it on Allah, and we just deal them with as humans, and be very committed to what we have to perform with your family, with your work. The professionalism, what we see here, the lack of professionalism, and our courses and there is no talk about much on that, that what is professionalism. We teach a profession, what is professionalism, what are particular special professional ethics of the profession. They must be included, and they are to some extent but not extensively. So that is why we have very good employees even, but they lack professionalism. So work is also, to me, it's an ibadat. It is not just worldly work, because we get paid for that. And halal का रिस्क जो है वो इसी वजह से उसको हलाल का कहा जाता है. The job we are performing, the work we are doing, and वो इबादत है. Problem is that we have separated our work from the other religious things, and that is why it is more worldly, and we think that doing whatever unethical practices in our work, that is, it's okay. It doesn't that much matter as other bad deeds. So I think this perception must change. Our work is very important also. वो जो आखिरत है ना, वो दीन और दुनिया, वो दुनिया के जरिए से ही आखिरत है, वो अलग से कुछ नहीं है. So we have to develop behavior, positive behaviors among our youngsters and colleagues and ourselves also. It is not that I am taking myself out. The point is, it is very important to progress, to grow, and to live a happy, successful life within your society and your family and at your workplace. To create a healthy environment, that is very important, that your behavior is good. And how to learn the behavior? Simple rule जो पुराना हकीम लुकमान से शायद किसी ने पूछा था कि जो कोई बात किसी दूसरे की मुझे अच्छी नहीं लगती, मैं वो छोड़ देता हूँ. So what we expect from others, are we delivering that to others? It's a simple parameters. So yes, we can, everybody says that people are not loyal and people are doing this and people are doing this. Okay, just look what we are doing, and if people have same kind of complaint from us, it means that it's common. So to develop and think and our own self, it's very important. And even this is, I think, what I love about our religion is that the behavior and good deeds are so much put at higher pedestal that even your ibadat gets questioned if your behaviors are not appropriate in the way they are desired to. So to develop them, it is very important. To ponder upon them, very important. To ask about others, to say simple little things, to saying thank you and asking for an apology is not a big deal. But I have observed people face really bad due to little small problems or behavior problems. And it has many dimensions. I think, stop here. My time probably is enough. I have taken I would conclude that all these three domains need constant development throughout one's life, learning one's own shortcomings from others, from ourselves, from surroundings, and adding on to knowledge using reliable resources, not getting prey to the agenda of others, and being insightful and questioning whatever we are being told, that to what extent it may be right. It's not just having whatever we are told and digesting it and consuming it. And जो क्या खबर या न्यूज हम फैलाते हैं या इल्म के तौर पर हम दूसरों के साथ शेयर करते हैं, क्या पहले उसको हमने खुद ऑथेंटिसिटी उसकी टेस्ट कर लिया है? तो देन वी शुड शेयर दैट विद अदर्स. इल्म को बगैर तस्दीक के फैलाना ये कोई अच्छी बात नहीं है. तो ये इससे बहुत खराबी पैदा होती है और इससे भी हमें मना फरमाया गया है. तो थैंक यू सो वेरी मच एंड अगेन कांग्रेचुलेशंस एंड दीस आर माय हम्बल talk.
Thank you so much, madam, for sharing your really helpful expertise on the subject. Now I would like to introduce Professor Dr. Bushra Mirza, Vice Chancellor, Lahore College of Women University. Before joining Lahore College, she had a very long affiliation with the Faculty of Biological Sciences at Qaeda University, spanning over 2 decades. She is a well-published researcher with over 200 publications in prestigious journals, both national and international. She has received various awards and honors such as AR Gold Medal, the Best Young Research Scholar Award from Higher Education Commission of Pakistan, and a Gold Medal from Pakistan Academy of Sciences. In recognition of her achievements, she was deservingly awarded Tamga Imtiaz. Madam, I request you to please share your views on today's topic with us.
Thank you very much. I think it's a play of, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think first of all, I congratulate you for organizing this seminar, and I'm really very thankful to very respectable colleagues. Dr. Kamal Amin was with us, and Dr. Niaz is also part of this panel. So I'm so very thankful to all these senior colleagues for being part of us for this effort, and I congratulate you for organizing this event. I think it's a very interesting debate and a very interesting topic to think about, especially in educational institutions, that what is knowledge, what is skill, and how it should be affecting our behavior. That is what I understand from your topic. You know, as far as knowledge is concerned, I think we all are here to learn. You know, I think getting knowledge, seeking knowledge is actually life. If you stop trying to get knowledge or seek knowledge or increase your knowledge, then you should be considered dead, to be honest, because our whole life is supposed to be about learning, about acquiring knowledge, and about improving ourselves based on that knowledge. Our religion also tells us, and of course in our practical life, we see that only those people, you know, as we say, knowledge is power. So only those people can survive in this world, in this competitive world, who have knowledge about science, technology, about behaviors, and so on. So it's especially in educational institutions like universities, it is our utmost effort, and it should be our utmost effort to improve our knowledge, to gain and impart knowledge. But then comes skills, and skills are equally important than knowledge, because unless we are able to polish our skills to implement that knowledge, knowledge is of no use. And when I say skills, in fact, there are two types of skills. One are what we consider as professional or technical skills, and the others are soft skills. Technical skills actually means, you know, whatever knowledge, whatever is your field of interest, getting know-how of how to use that knowledge to do certain things. By utilizing the knowledge of that field. Like if you are a surgeon, obviously you should know how to do operate, and if you are an engineer, you should know how to make machines and so on. So, but most of the time we feel that we overemphasize technical knowledge and we ignore soft skills, which are, if not more, equally important. And by soft skills, it actually means that you should have the ability to solve problems, to be creative, leadership abilities, of course, communication skill, and, you know, problem solving skills, and what we call emotional intelligence, and you know, ability to handle situations, and so on. Most of the time people do not understand the importance of soft skills, but I personally feel, and of course the experts in the area also feel, that it's actually the soft skills which ensure your success, because sometimes we see children graduating with the distinction, and then we see in their practical life they do not perform very well, and one wonders that why somebody who was performed so well in their academics were sort of kind of bit failure in their practical life. And on the other hand, we see other people who probably performed average during their educational study, during their professional training, but then they excel and they reach to the top of their profession. And if you look at those people who reach to the top, it's the difference, in fact, between those who cannot reach to the top positions and the one who are more successful is actually soft skills. Because I always share this study with my students. There was a study done by social scientists in USA, and I read the results, and it just said that 15% of the success depends on the professional skills or technical skills, while 85% of the chances of you being successful depends on soft skills. So this is kind of a proven fact that skills like the ability to pursue your goals, to what we call grit and the creativity, and because I think it's more evident in today's world when we see that technology is improving and is very rapidly changing. So whenever you get, for example, you have one software and you learn to use that software, and by the time you realize that you have learned to use that software, it's already obsolete and a new version comes, and then you have to learn that software. So things are changing so fast. So we must have the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn, and for that you have that soft skill of being able to develop this habit of continuous learning and continuous improving yourself, and not be afraid of the new situation or new challenges, because these are the things which are highly important for you to perform in whatever field you choose. So I feel that this is sort of I always emphasize the importance of soft skills, and of course, when we talk about soft skills, that's going to affect our behavior, which is basically the basis of soft skills, because you should be able to control your extreme emotions. You may be sometimes very angry or very upset or very frustrated, but you have to handle situation in a very normal way. So nowadays, if you read literature, and you come to know that emotional intelligence seems to be more important than IQ, intelligence, which was your mental abilities. So that actually shows that having control on your emotions and being able to first of all control, because unless you have control over yourself, how would you be able to control others or lead others and manage the situation? So that's why I feel that knowledge is the basis of acquiring skills. And of course, knowledge is very important because that is the basis of everything we develop ourselves to. And then skills are important based on that knowledge, and particularly soft skills, which are basis of the ideal behavior, because we are all human beings, and that makes us different from machines, because otherwise we see as the artificial intelligence and all these programmed machines are coming, which have the ability to perform much more. They have got much more knowledge because they we can't remember as much as a computer can. And similarly, they have much more efficient ability to perform things in a more efficient way, because their speed is much higher than us. So what makes us human being, what makes us superior to these machines is, at the end of the day, is our behavior, our ability to be creative, to be problem solvers, to be compassionate, because this is the basis of these emotions like compassion and love and sympathy and caring attitude is something which makes us superior to the machines or even from rest of the living creatures. That makes us human being, ashraful makhluqat, as we consider ourselves, our religion calls us. So I think that's the reason why we are human beings, because we must have a better behavior. We must have the ability to improve ourselves, to groom ourselves based on the soft skills which we acquire based on our knowledge. So, I thought when I looked at your topic, I do not know what you had in your mind, but I personally looked at it as a very interesting topic because knowledge evolves to skills and skill evolve to better behavior. And if they do not, that means something is seriously lacking. There is a big gap, and that can be a serious issue. So that's why I feel that as teachers, as parents, as society, as professionals, we need to encourage this acquiring knowledge, acquiring skills, and improving our behavior of ourselves as well as our students. And I feel that most of the time the problems which we face, the problems which we see in our society are also because of the gap present between somewhere between knowledge and skill, or skill and behavior of human being. Because I personally feel that problems are usually not the problems. The problems are how we face those problems. And if we face those problems with courage, with ability to be accommodative, ability to handle the situations, then those problems can sometimes, in fact, become opportunities to create something new, to create something better for ourselves as well as people around us. So with these remarks, I thank you for organizing this event, and I particularly thank our resource persons who have joined us for this very important topic, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. That was quite enlightening. Professor Dr. Saika has some internet issue at her side, so she will be joining us very soon. And before that, I would like to request Ms. Namude Sahar from Home Economics Department to kindly share her views.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Marine, for giving me this chance of sharing my views on this topic, knowledge, skills, and behavior development. Yesterday, I had a conversation with my colleagues about what is important in education, besides transferring knowledge, and how can teachers play a role in it. We come up with an idea that teachers' role in this present time is not merely to teach, but to coach, to mentor, to nurture, and inspire. Because education is not only about transferring knowledge, but also about the ability to use this knowledge itself. It is important to develop students and student skills and behaviors. So what are Ksbs? They are really the fundamental basis of what we offer to learners in educational institutes. And we need to equip them with the tools to unlock their potentials and enable them to think positive next steps for their future. Effective educational system and teaching can help in the development of transferable broad Ksbs that are effective communication, problem solving, and resilience. And our learner will benefit from developing them, reflecting, and practicing throughout their life. As goal of education is not the learning of facts, but the training of mind to think. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mahmood. Now I would like to introduce our last speaker, Professor Dr. Saika M. Kazmi. She is the Vice Chancellor, Government Sadiq College, Women University, Bhavalpur. She served as chairperson and professor, Department of English at Bhagin Sikhriyal University, Multan. She also served as the director, Institute of Management Sciences and director, English Center there. She got gold medal in Masters in English Language and Literature. She earned her postdoctorate and doctorate degrees in linguistics from Lancaster University, UK. She is the member editorial review board of various journals. She is the former executive member, Foundation of Endangered Languages, UK. Madam, kindly share your views. I think there is some internet issue at her side. She will be joining us in a minute. She will. Dr. Saika has just joined us. Madam, kindly share your views.
Can you hear me, Mehreen?
Yes, ma'am, now we can hear you.
Mehreen, I'm really sorry. There was this fluctuation and electricity went off and then generator was turned on, all those issues.
No issue. And kindly share your views on today's topic, knowledge, skill, and behavior development.
Okay, right. First, I would like to congratulate Lahore College for Women University, especially Dr. Bushra, that she has got enterprising faculty and faculty and Dr. Mehreen Ijaz for organizing this seminar on such an important topic. And the speakers that we have, the eminent speakers, they have encapsulated the whole thing in a very short time. Dr. Niaz, Dr. Kamal, unfortunately, I couldn't hear Dr. Bushra because of the connectivity issues. But this is a very important topic that we as a nation are facing. Unfortunately, the rowdy crowd that we see among the educated class, that tells us that education, is it useless education? Education was always associated with good behavior and all, but somehow it is lacking now. And so I'll just quickly, many areas have already been covered by my eminent colleagues. And the terms, of course, knowledge, skills, and behavior, these are used interchangeably. But knowledge, as Dr. Niaz said, that it's mental or theoretical, it's understanding. Skills are practical, and behavior basically refers to the mindsets, attitude, and approaches. The best thing I would say is that all of these can be learned. Behavior, of course, it is innate, or it's a subset of skills. It can be, innate or instinctive, but it can be learned. So both knowledge, skills, and behavior can be learned, and they are intellect in the sense that knowledge and behavior affect our knowledge and skills affect our behavior. If we look at education, representing and being in education is being a student of social sciences and all. I feel that, education either functions as an instrument, as a practice of freedom, or brings about conformity to the present system. Basically, it functions as an instrument which is used to facilitate integration of the young generation into the logic of present system. Either it can, both as well, it brings about conformity, or it becomes the practice of freedom, by means of which the students or human beings deal critically and creatively with reality. Now, if we teach critical thinking skills or creativity to our students, and it can bring a positive transformation in the world when the thinking process is critical or creative. What the skills that the students learn are fluency, flexibility, originality, remote associations, redefinitions, sensitivity to problems, acceptance of ambiguity and divergence. Unfortunately, what's happening is that we are teaching our students answers. We are not teaching them questions. We are not making them look at things critically. I'm reminded of what Einstein once said. He said that intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. So basically, the intuitive side, the creative side is not encouraged in our educational system. If we look at the curriculum, if we look at the course books, Now, curriculum transmits knowledge, standard social practices, and values to the younger generation. Knowledge in the textbooks including subject knowledge, of course, is not randomly selected. Basically, whatever the aspirations of the nation are, national ideals, ideology, or the social practices that we want to encourage, that is included in the curriculum. And basically it's I mean, it depends on us what type of mindsets do we want our students to have. And remember, mindsets are then translated into our behavior. A Brazilian radical educator, Paulo Freire, I mean, he talks about, he created an approach to emancipatory education. And he said that, he believed that this traditional pedagogy was banking model of education, again, teaching the answers, because in this traditional banking model of education, students, their minds are taken, are taken as vessels, which can be, which are there to be filled by the teacher. But then what basically is required in the world is dialogue, critical questioning, love for humanity, praxis, synthesis of critical reflection and action. Basically, what we, instead of, at times what we have seen is that perpetuation of, what we are facilitating is the perpetuation. What I'm saying is right from the school level to the higher level. Generally, generally, I would say perpetuation of some stereotypes are being facilitated. One of the PhD research that I supervised a couple of years back, we were looking at the representation of gender, or the gender gap that existed in the curriculum. We looked at the textbooks from of primary level textbooks of Punjab Textbook Board. I'll just, we looked at different areas, representations, nouns, pronouns, sports, and all that. I'll just mention three examples from the findings of that research. Now, we talk about the gender gap that exists in Pakistan. We talk about, there was a report of World Economic Forum a couple of years back, and according to the report, the gender gap index in Pakistan was the second highest in the world. Pakistan was ranked at 143rd number out of 144 countries. Of course, looking at the examples, the findings, I'll just share, as I said, a couple of findings. There were 106, remember, we looked at all the textbooks of primary level, like science, math, social studies, English, Urdu, all these. Now, there were 106 occurrences of males and females engaged in sports. Out of those 106 occurrences, males were engaged only in 101 sports, while females were engaged only in 5 sports. And the sports which were given to women included, of course, they included dolls, toys, skipping, running, and jumping. And the sports and games that were, that boys or males were shown to be playing were computer games, squash, cricket, hockey, badminton, table tennis. Now, basically, this type of socialization results in in not accepting the diversity, in rigidity and all. We can't, if we are socialized in this manner in the early years of our lives, and we'll have the similar mindsets where we won't give space to each other. In illustrations also, there were 118, 102 illustrations containing human and non-human characters. Now, in these males, there was, out of these 1,802 illustrations, 66% were given to men and 34 to women. And occupations, it was really interesting that 20 types of occupations were represented in those casebooks. Out of those 20, 80% were given to males, and only 20% were women were engaged in the 20% of sports. So what we found out was the textbooks are the product of social practices, and they were facilitating the perpetuation of patriarchal norms through the portrayal of gender stereotypes. Another thing that I've seen is that at times we are, there's a term cultural cringe. That's associated with Australians, that they are ashamed of their ancestors because they were the criminals from Europe who was forcibly sent to Australia. So, but unfortunately, we are also, culture shame is there in our, at times, because of how we look at our norms, look at our practices. Not just cultural cringe, but linguistic cringe also. And unfortunately, whatever is foreign is held at esteem. Fine, for vaccine, we have to look up to other countries. But what about speaking the truth? What about giving up black marketing? And I mean, this kind of malpractices, we don't have to look up to all those advanced countries. These were a part of our cultural norms. This is our religious duty to, to be fair in our dealings with others and all. But unfortunately, we are not adhering to these strictly. Now, what's happening is that, again, as a student of social sciences, different researches that I carried out was that somehow teachers are also not playing their role in, in giving, in promoting the culture, or in presenting a positive picture of the cultural norms, practices, and values. I'm reminded of what Edward Said, he argued that colonized take on the view of themselves that the colonizers promote. And this total physical and mental submission results in colonizers establishing themselves firmly on alien lands and minds. So colonizers, previously they established firmly on lands, but now it's our minds. And of course, we can't totally blame them, because what did Tagore say? Tagore said that it was not the Western culture that was to blame, but the judicious niggardliness of the nation that had taken upon itself the white man's burden of criticizing the East. So this pride in culture and all, of course, we must accept what is wrong. And that should be there, that should be inculcated in the minds of our students, and it would be reflected in our behavior as well. So social behaviors and attitudes conveyed through classroom discourses, conveyed through our curriculum and all, basically these have a permanent humanizing effect on our students. What we need to do is we need to encourage our teachers and students to basically, to read thinkers like Bourdieu, Foucault, Fairclough, Gramsci, who advocate that language is a political phenomena and hegemony is achieved through language, picture, science, and symbol. Just take one example. When the this detergent surf ad came for the first time, दाग तो अच्छे होते हैं, I was shocked. I said, this is so much against whatever we have been, safai nisf iman hai. Uske baad at our homes also, mothers would say, gande nahi hona and all that. And suddenly दाग तो अच्छे होते हैं. So this type of, we should be able to see through these messages that are there. And as Dr. Kanwal rightly said, that this we should be able to distinguish between propaganda and the reality or whatever. Because what happens is that they follow it. Our students, they have young minds and all, their critical abilities are not fully developed. And basically, this type of propaganda is capable of convincing people to concede to manufactured truth. And it should not be there. Now, here I come to my last point, that the teachers have not just the classroom discourses, one sentence by the teacher, students, as many, our audience are teachers. So you would, all of us know that our students come back to us and they say, once you said this and we remember that. So one sentence by the teacher has such a positive effect on the behavior of the student and all. So teacher training is a must. I strongly believe that there should be in-service, compulsory pre-service training, at least 4 to 6 months, intensive training for the teachers, and then continuous one as well, so that what type of discourses should they have in the classroom, or what type of message should they, because teachers are role models, what type of behavior should they have towards the students, because our textbooks, classroom discourses, curriculum, and teachers, they are who are a role model for the students. They have a very, big role to play, and teachers training is really important. Pre-service, very intensive, and then later on. So in the end, what I would like to say is that let's not be perpetuators of harmful discourses. Let's help in creating critical thinking among our learners by providing such textbooks and role models among teachers who produce enlightened minds capable of critical thinking, who do not have culture shame, who are proud of their religion, who are proud of their heritage, and who are also aware of the failings or wherever we are failing, and autonomous learners, and they should be able to critically look at their behavior, their own behavior and cultural norms, and whatever is the best, they should be able to adopt. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam, for bringing depth into the conversation. It was a delight to listen to all of our speakers. Very useful insights were shared. I hope our students have learned some new techniques and strategies and approaches from our speakers. I wish we had more time and had a question and answer session with our students. Unfortunately, we have to end here, but before we finish, I would like to thank all our speakers, Professor Dr. Niaz Ahmed Akhtar Saab, Professor Dr. Kamal Amin, Professor Dr. Saika Imtiaz Amin. I know all of you are very busy. Thank you so much for taking out time for us. I'm also very thankful to Professor Dr. Vishram Mirza Sahiba for her support in organizing today's webinar. I would like to especially thank our Department of Mass Communication and our IT team for their support throughout the session. Thank you all, and Allah Hafiz.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure really to be the part of this wonderful discussion.